Two documents were unsealed following Donald Trump's arraignment. One was a statement of facts, a narrative adopted by the grand jury outlining what is described as a more than 2-year-long scheme by Trump to influence the 2016 presidential campaign by identifying and purchasing negative information about him to suppress its publication and benefit his electoral prospects. The other is the 16-page indictment, which outlines the criminal charges against Trump. It describes a far more narrow range of wrongdoing. Joining me on the morning show to provide some analysis, defense attorney John Holzbaur. Hey, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Morning, Bruce.
So Trump's attorney called the indictment boilerplate. Too simple? How do you see it?
It's standard language that's universal, understood by attorneys across the nation. It is generally cosmically pretty unspectacular, but the district attorney has to use that as a tool to state his case and start planting the seed with a prospective jury and educating the judge. This is what we believe we're going to be able to prove.
So the references to federal election laws are virtually certain to be the focus of pretrial motions by the Trump attorneys. They say this is a state offense and can't be piggybacked on federal crime law. If the defense prevails on that, these could be reduced to misdemeanors. Would that essentially be a legal, political, and moral victory for the Trump camp?
I certainly believe the Trump campaign is going to frame it that way. And look, DA Bragg put his case out yesterday when he made his statement. He owns this now and believes he can prove it, and any chipping away by the defense team will be perceived as a victory of sorts.
So that said, what is it the prosecutors need to prove?
Well, the prosecutors need to prove something that's, it is a little novel in that they're tying state law and possibly federal election campaign law together to elevate these charges into the felony realm. That is a little different, and given that the federal authorities have not pursued this matter, makes it a little even more interesting.
New York State Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan told the lawyers to ask their witnesses to control their public statements. Trump did in court. He did not grant Bragg's request for a gag order, but given Trump's public remarks last night at Mar-a-Lago, I mean, he was pretty vocal. He lashed out at the prosecution, attacked in bitter terms the prosecutor and the judge, despite being admonished not to do so. Might Judge Merchan sit back and say, I've got to reconsider things given what Trump had to say last night?
Sure, judges are going to take this, Judge Merchan's going to take this play-by-play, but listen, I don't believe there's an American who isn't aware of this case, wasn't aware of the announcement of the indictment yesterday. So a gag order is one of the reasons why gag orders are issued, is to prevent the tainting of potential jurors with sensitive information. We're not there yet. This is part and parcel of how the former president conducts himself. There's going to be a great deal of drama surrounding this, but it's certainly something the judge is going to gauge as the case progresses.
Well, look, there was no mugshot, but the Trump camp went ahead and they took a fake mugshot and they're using it as campaign fundraising merchandise. The judge has to look at that and say, whoa.
But that doesn't prejudice the jury. That's not that sensitive information. Look, this is going to involve a great deal of drama. And there may even be other indictments that are coming the former president's way. This is just the beginning of a months-long, if not years-long process.
All right, that other drama you're talking about, 2 potential other trials. I know that they said that this trial may start in January. Given the fact that there are 2 other criminal investigations underway, is that January timeline even realistic right now?
That's doubtful, because the pretrial motion phase is probably going to be very spirited in this matter, and that necessarily will take it beyond January.
Either way, this is going to be hung up in the courts for a very long time.
That's a safe bet.
All right, thanks very much for being here. Appreciate your perspective. We'll be talking
Great
again.
to be here.